The nth term of a sequence is a rule which lets us find any term in that sequence. If we look at this sequence here, we know that the term-to-term rule is going to be plus 3, or add 3. To work out the nth term, we need to have two rules. There's going to be a times and a plus or a take away. We first look at the term-to-term rule for the sequence, which is add 3. We then think about a sequence which goes up in threes that we know. And this is just the 3 times tables, which we can write above or below the other sequence. We then need to think of how we would go from the 3 times tables to the sequence that we have. And we should notice that to get from 3 to 4, we would add 1, 6 to 7, you would add 1, 9 to 10, you would add 1, and so on. So the first rule is to times by 3, because we're adding 3 every time. So we have lots of 3. And the second rule is to then add 1. So the nth term rule is 3n plus 1. Here's another example. To find the nth term of this sequence, I recognize that it's going up in 4s. So I say my first rule is add 4. I need to think about the 4 times tables, which I can write above the sequence. So 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on. To go from 4 to the sequence that we have in the question, we add 1. To go from 8 to the sequence that we have in the question, we add 1, and it's always going to be the same. So we say that the nth term is 4n, because you're adding on lots of 4 every time, 4n plus 1. It's all well and good to find the nth term, but we need to also be able to use it. For example, if I wanted to use the nth term to find out what, say, the 4th term of the sequence is, we know the 4th term is 17, but if we didn't know that, we could use the nth term by substituting in n equals 4, because we want the 4th term. When we substitute n equals 4, we have 4 times 4 plus 1, which is 16 plus 1, which is 17, which is exactly what we expect. Here's another example. To find the nth term of this sequence, what I'm going to do is write down the first few terms, so 3, 5, 7, 9. I can see that the rule for the sequence is plus 2, that's our term-to-term rule. I'm adding 2 every time. So I need to think about the 2 times table, which I can write above my sequence, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. The 2 times table can be represented as 2n. To go from each term in the 2 times table to the corresponding term in our sequence, we're adding 1. So the nth term is 2n plus 1. And remember, this means 2 times n, and then you add 1. Here's another one for us to try. To find the nth term of this sequence, I need to consider what the sequence is going up in. It's going up in 3s, that's our term-to-term rule, plus 3. I consider the 3 times tables, 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. To get from 3 to 8, I add 5, 6 to 11, add 5, 9 to 14, add 5. So the nth term is going to be 3n, because that represents the 3 times table here, and then we add 5. So the rule is 3n plus 5. Here is a quick question for you to try. Please pause the video now and have a go. And when you're ready for the answer, press play. Here is the answer. 4n plus 2 should be your nth term. Here's another one for you to try. Please pause the video quickly and have a go. And when you're ready for the answer, press play. Here's the answer. You should have 3n plus 1 as your nth. Here are some harder questions for you to try. Please pause the video now and have a go. And when you're ready for the answers, press play. Here are the answers. These should be the nth terms of the sequences on the board. A lot of the time, the sequences we have will be decreasing sequences. That is, sequences which get smaller every time or become more negative. If we look at this example, we can see we have the sequence 8, 5, 2, minus 1. To find the nth term of this sequence, we recognize that the term-to-term rule is take away 3. And then, instead of the 3 times tables, we need to consider the sequence starting at minus 3, going down by 3. So minus 3, minus 6, minus 9, minus 12, and so on. We then need to consider what I would need to add to minus 3 to get to 8. Well, that's going to be 8 take away minus 3, which is 8 plus 3, which is 11. And in fact, I'm adding 11 every time. Minus 6 plus 11 is 5, minus 9 plus 11 is 2, minus 12 plus 11 is minus 1. So the nth term is minus 3n plus 11. Here are some questions for you to try. I'd like you to try and find the nth term of these sequences. When you're ready for the answers, press play. Okay, so hopefully you had a go at these. They are a bit trickier. Here are the answers. Finally, we might not have a plus as our second operation. You might have a minus. For example, in this sequence, we can see that the term-to-term rule is going to be add 9. So we want to consider the 9 times tables, 9, 18, 27. To go from 9 to 4, however, we don't add. We have to take away 5. 18 to 13, take away 5. 27 to 22, take away 5. So the nth term is 9n, because we're adding 9 every time. But then we're subtracting 5 from the 9 times table. So it's going to be 9n, take away 5. That's going to be the nth term rule. Finally, here are some questions for you to try which combines everything we've done. Please pause the video now and have a go, and when you're ready for the answers, press play. Here are the answers.